I'm James.
I'm Carrie.
I'm Lacey.
And I'm Lee at Just One More Fix.
A proud member of the Gonna Geek Network.
Just like the show you're listening to now.
The opinions expressed are those of each individual host.
Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
And get ready, because geekiness begins in 3,
2, 1.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 376 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. This is recorded live on Sunday, October 13th, 2019. I don't know any significance of this date, but hey, we're close to Halloween, so you can prepare yourself for your Halloween excitement. And as we talk about Halloween excitement, I have to say, Willie Nelson, what are you doing for Halloween?
I have two parties to go to, one Halloween night and then one the night after, because the night after is a Friday, so that's when the parties be happening. And I'm going to be dressed as Spooky Captain Spaulding. Ooh. I hope to freak some people out.
I hope you do too. Bachman, what are you up to for Halloween?
I'll probably be sitting at home drinking, watching Nightmare on Elm Street and Trick or Treat.
These are all valid things. I have literally no plans for Halloween right now.
Hold on. Trick or Treat or
Trick or Treat?
Or Treat? Because there's two different movies.
No, Trick or Treat with Sam. My new favorite anthology. I freaking love that movie.
There's a lot of Sam at the Halloween Spirit store that I went to last week. A lot of Sam.
As well there
Happy
should
to
be. He's an awesome character.
Yeah, I don't think I have any fancy Halloween activities planned, but the weekend before, on that Saturday, I believe it is, they have an Oktoberfest to go to during the day. And that evening, there is a bar in town called the Fallout Shelter that is modeled after like a 50s style Fallout shelter with a bunch of arcade games and stuff like that in it, that is doing a Rocky Horror Picture Night screening. Rocky Horror Picture Show screening, including people that are coming up and acting along with it on there. So it's one of those...
a Shadowcast.
Yes, Shadowcast. It's one of the big interactive events that are tons of fun, and I haven't been to one in like 5 or 6 years when one of the local theaters in town closed. They used to do it once a month. So I'm hoping it comes back. And since I helped fund them on Indiegogo to get started, I have my VIP pass, so I get free admission. Ooh.
A controversial opinion here.
All right, go for it.
Rocky Horror Picture Show is only good for the first half.
Ooh. That make people angry.
After Rocky gets made and that one song afterwards, it's downhill from there.
So don't forget, you can send your hate mail to js@gonnageek.com if you disagree with Willie's opinion, or tweet at SouthPorky.
There you go. I
want some hate mail. My question is, he said he was going as Spooky Captain Spaulding. Is there a non-spooky version of Captain Spaulding?
Slutty Captain Spaulding.
Ooh.
That's not spooky then. It's slutty.
That's still creepy. It's definitely scary. Possibly a little ooky.
Willie's trying to figure out.
Spooky.
Willie's trying to figure out if he can pull it off right now. I see the gears turning in his head.
He's trying to figure out how to do a Captain Spaulding outfit where his balls are hanging out.
If they're not hanging out, then you're not doing the costume right.
Then you're not doing it right. Rip Sid Haig. I hope we see a
dear.
lot of Captain Spauldings this year.
I, of course, did it 4 years ago, and I think I did a pretty good job, enough to where people at the party were like, "Stop looking at me." I'm like,
yeah, you're getting one of his characters right if you're creeping people out.
And of course, my buddy at the end of the night tried to wrestle me, and so he tried to do like a takedown at my waist. So my head went on his back, and then he lifted back up, and then my face and just rubbed my face straight up. So that makeup was looking
Fucked.
even more creepier.
Nice. And then he had white makeup all strung down his back.
And blue and black.
Lovely.
And a hint of red, because, for the cheeks. Just that little rosy cheek. I did a good job.
Did you now?
I did. And I do have there is an update this week.
Is this on your crush?
No. Oh, well, all right, fine. I'll do an update for that. I do have a new crush this week.
Okay, hold on.
I'm not a savage. I'm just creepy.
Proceed.
My new crush this week is all you lovely listeners.
And this
Thank
has been Willie's latest crush of the
Oh,
week.
you
I'm not a
easy
savage.
bitch.
I'm just creepy.
I did some work last week, boys.
The king of the bumps. King of the bumps.
But the new segment that started last week, there was an update on the cunt of the week this week, and it's still Gwyneth Paltrow. She's still the cunt of the week. It's just what it says here. What can I do?
So
I'm just reading from the paper.
who is
He's
in
just
charge of
reporting.
creating this list for your See You Next Tuesday of the week? Is it managed by one Willie D. Nelson, managed by Twitter? How do you determine who is the See You Next Tuesday of the week?
I cannot confirm nor deny that. It's a secret mystery list. They don't tell me.
The writer
It's
is one
just-
William D. Nelson Riley.
You're really close there, but I can't tell. I don't know. I can only assume.
So is there any kind of science associated with this, Willie?
Yes. The giganticness of her cuntness is so large that I'm foreseeing that she's going to be the cunt of the week next week too. This is just my speculation.
Because science says so. Remember, we believe in science on the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast.
I mean, the goop
Repeatable
levels
results.
are off the charts with this one.
Here's the question. Every time you ask the question, is Gwyneth Paltrow a cunt? The answer comes back as yes. Therefore, it's repeatable results.
If you want to argue
Science.
with me and tell me I'm wrong, I would love to hear a reason why she's not.
You're not going to hear any of those.
I mean, if you can my mind can be changed. It has before on this show. Like, oh, I'm thinking this way. Oh, that's a good. I like that idea, way of thinking. I like that. I'm going to change my mind.
We're still trying to get you to come around on Man of Steel. If it's a work in progress.
I can't help it. I like that movie. It's a good movie. My brain enjoys it. Michael Shannon also did a great job as General Zod.
Shannon was good in it.
It's a good movie. I admit that part. I never said it wasn't a good movie.
It's just not a Superman movie.
Yeah, it's just not a Superman movie.
I'm still saying it's the best Superman movie that we got.
Wow.
And that is where you are factually wrong because the movie Superman exists.
I would like to take you back to a television program that I greatly enjoy called Scrubs. And there's a song there, sung by one John C. McGinley, a.k.a. Dr. Perry Cox, that you should know, Willie. And it's this. Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
I thought you were going to go with the theme song and say, "I'm no Superman."
That I can't do because that would be a YouTube strike. If I sing the wrong song, I'm safe.
That's just a little clip, and we're mentioning, we're talking about it.
But there is no copyright on the wrong song.
At least,
Are you sure?
Not that I know of. We'll find out if we get a takedown notice.
You
Let's
may
put it
owe John C. McGinley 4 cents.
I will gladly pay him those 4 cents. if
And
that's
what's
what
he
I owe.
doing now? He might need it.
I don't know. Let's check the IMDb before we actually get into the news of things.
And I think I want to say he started producing some stuff, but also he had a kid.
Really? Isn't he? How old?
Yeah, he's an older gentleman, but I believe, as in most Hollywood things, he has a slightly younger wife.
So John C. McGinley is currently in Chicago PD, so that probably pays some bills.
There you go. So he's still doing
Jesus.
TV.
One of the Chicago shows.
He also did a show called Stand Against Evil from 2016 to 2018.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh
hearing
yeah, he
something
was in
about
Stand
that.
Against Evil. He was
I
Stanley.
haven't seen it.
He had those are all guest roles, but from 2013 to 2015, he was in a show called Ground Floor as Mr. Mansfield.
That's a name.
That is a name. He was in Burn Notice in 2012, which is an awesome show, by the way. These are I'm just pulling things where it's not guest appearances. He was in a show called Dan Versus as a voiceover
you know his best role, don't you?
actor. Dr. Perry Cox.
No, in
A
Hog
Little
Wild.
Jacket.
I'm sorry, it's still Dr. Perry Cox.
No, Hog Wild as the cop.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
No.
Hog
Still
Wild was a good movie.
Dr. Perry Cox.
No,
Hog
you're
Wild
both wrong.
is amazing to watch and make fun of while you're watching.
Willie,
It's
do
a
I need to
great
sing
riff
you another
track
song
movie.
again? I don't want to sing another song.
It's a great riff track movie. There's a lot wrong with it, and it's funny to make fun of it.
Wrong. You're wrong. No, I'm just messing with you now. So I think we have proven that John C. McGinley is still working, still an active actor. So
What the hell was his name in
kudos
that?
to him. I didn't have to sing you a little song, Willie.
What you just did.
I sang you
Yeah, no.
part of a little song, not the full song.
His greatest role is still Sergeant O'Neill in Platoon. Motherfucker was in Platoon.
I've never seen it. I don't do war movies.
What the? You haven't seen Platoon?
War movies do not interest me in the slightest.
Oh, that movie's so good because it's such a good look at how bad Vietnam was.
I'm not saying it's a bad movie or anything. It's just war movies just don't interest me at all. What I don't.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I've tried and I just pass out. I'm like, I'm good on this. I'm bored.
Nothing can kill Barnes but Barnes. Fucking Platoon is awesome. Yeah, dude, it's like young, like 19-year-old Charlie Sheen. Like the cast in that movie is insane.
Now, do you know what Dr. Cox could have helped with?
Oh no. What?
I had an issue as a teenager. Where I'm not sure the name of it. All I know is I think I was getting up too fast, and as I was starting the shower, I was feeling lightheaded and queasy. So as I got to the toilet to prepare to vomit, I would just wake back up and like, I guess I just passed. I guess I just went back to sleep here on the bathroom floor. Oh well. This happened a couple times, like as a teenager before school, and I didn't think much anything of it because I was just going back to sleep. Turns out I was apparently passing out. Still don't know the reason. I guess because I'm a bigger person, maybe because I was getting up and all the blood just rushed right down. I don't know, but it happened one time while I was in the shower, so that was fun. Having my mom having to come in, I was trying to get out of the shower, and I just slumped down and hit my head on the way on the fall. Yeah, she had to come in there, and I was just crumpled in the shower floor. So that was a fun hospital ride.
That sounds uncomfortable in its highest form. We're glad that you survived it and didn't injure yourself worse.
The worst part is when they did was it EKG? What was the thing when they stick those little things on you, little sticky things?
Was it on your head or on your
vitals?
chest?
Chest.
Then that's an EKG, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I said. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, I said something right.
Electrocardiogram.
The worst part about those were that after, like, at the end of the day, they did let go of the skin, but they
Not the
didn't
hair.
let go of the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to cut it with scissors. Had to cut them
Oh
off.
wow. They couldn't even peel them off of you?
Oh, this is the neck. This is the end of the day when I'm already out of the hospital.
Willie, you should be glad they
Oh.
didn't shave you to properly adhere them, because that could
That's
probably
true.
sometimes happen if they can't get a clean read. I'm trying to remember back from one of my classes in college where we actually had to talk about the science of how those sensors work, is that they had often said if you can't get a clear reading, you have to remove what's in between. So that would have been your sweater vest.
I don't think it was as thick back then. My memory's
Yeah.
terrible.
Otherwise, if it is how it is now, they probably would have shaved him.
Or at least
right
those
now.
spots. But Willie,
Yeah, they just take the clipper and go bump in a spot and then put the patch down.
Yep.
Which then leaves you looking weird because then you have like two blank spots in the middle of your sweater vest.
I
yeah.
mean, it was college Willie. Not college, it was high school Willie, so I'm not sure that a lot of people were viewing the sweater vest back then. Were they, Willie?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so it would have just been Willie that had been going, man, my sweater vest's all jacked up.
I think it was right after high school that I was going to start up the Willie Nelson chest hair fan club, but that never really got off the ground. It was a funny joke, though.
I guess you had to be there.
I mean, I had a nice pirate outfit because I used to be a pirate every year for Halloween because I was good at it. And I was gonna I was gonna have the chest hair all in that swashbuckler shirt, the low cut V. That was gonna be the first
The deep
month's.
V.
That was gonna be the first month's picture you get in the Willie Nelson fan club, chest hair fan
what
club.
I'm hearing here is Willie's going to start up his own Patreon, and if you are a $1 a month donor, you'll get the Willie Nelson chest hair picture of the month.
And for $5, you get it signed.
Signed. Wow, that's a bargain.
And for $20, you get some of the chest hair with it.
Oh, guys, no.
I'm trying to think. So it's got to be like at least a tuft. So how many people have to sign up for him to have to go bald every month?
Well, we have. So
No. This chest hair.
We have seen Willie's chest.
I know.
Remember,
I'm saying bald. Like you'd have to shave all of it to fulfill all your Patreon subscribers.
on
Go
this,
ahead, Chris.
on this show, Willie has shown his chest region before. It would take an awful lot to shave him bald, I think. So we're talking like enough patrons that he'd be like, man, for this kind of money, I'm good with that.
Well, I'm not saying he wouldn't do it. I'm just wondering the number of patrons that he'd have to top it out at and say, that's as much as I can shave in a month.
And I mean, I wouldn't shave it off. I mean, I shed, so I just run my fingers up and and just pull off, and there's some hair. Bloop.
Oh,
It's just chest hair, man.
Oh.
This guy's creepy.
How's that creepy?
Because I had to have the mental picture of it.
yeah, you're
what?
awful.
Someone's hands, including my own.
Yeah, no,
running through my
stop it.
chest,
Stop!
Stop it. No one wants to hear
gliding
that.
through the hair.
Stop!
Ugh.
My
Gross.
chestly mane.
That's the name of this week's episode. My chestly mane. I've decided. Thank you, Willie.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I don't even think chestly's a word. We're just gonna go with it.
It is now.
I don't give a fuck. It's a word now.
All words are made up.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, to an extent, you are correct.
Into Nebudalia. That word's made up. All
It's
words
not-
are made up.
It's not bad grammar. It's just poetic license.
Or poor thinking.
What was that? I'm very confused.
As you should be. Welcome to Sunday
Well, I
morning.
mean, I live in a perpetual state of it, so it's not unheard of.
Yeah, see. It's still very early, and I've had very little coffee. Confusion is to be expected.
Confusion
You
is
know
to
what?
be expected.
Do you know what should pump you right back up?
What's that, Willie?
A button.
I see what he did there. I see.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
So welcome everyone to the news of the week. It's that part of the show where we run down what is in our minds some of the most interesting, geeky, and or nerdy news to have popped up in the past week or so, and share it with you all who are watching live or listening at a later date. We're going to try and go on a slightly more serious one first that I am trying to get educated on, but I will fully admit that since I don't play Hearthstone, I don't know fully what all is going on here. I've read a lot about what has been going on and difficulties that Blizzard has had in regards to some censorship that was put into place, things like that. Willie, did you have a comment? I saw you were laughing.
Some problems?
Some problems, yes, that's the best way to put it.
Is it now?
Yeah, so let's dive into this. Now, everyone who's watching live, bear in mind, I don't play Hearthstone. I've tried to read up on what the issue is. I think it's worth our talking about, but I will apologize if I don't know all of the facts, 100% of them. I tried to spin myself up as best I could, but I think it's a conversation worthwhile to have. So before we get this kick-started, Willie, Anthony, you guys aware any of what the issues are with Hearthstone and Blizzard currently?
Yes.
Only what you guys had heard about it. And I've played Hearthstone. It's basically Wizards' own version of Magic the Gathering based on characters and creatures from their world with a slightly different version of a card game system. But that's what Hearthstone is. And
Right.
it's hugely popular on Twitch.
It's
Pay to win.
It is, and you can play it
Yep.
mobile, PC, in a variety of different ways. It's free to play if you want, but you're really not going to be able to advance much, is my understanding. But it's incredibly popular. There's tournaments all over the world. It's live streamed, and live streaming is what brings us into the issue that was had last week. There was a competitor in one of the Hearthstone tournaments that was live streamed by the name of Blitzchung. That is his user ID. He had his winnings stripped from him and was banned from the competitive scene for a year. Why did this happen? Because he expressed a pro-Hong Kong message on stream after his win. The 2 casters that were covering the event were also fired. Bear in mind, they didn't say a word about any pro or anti-Hong Kong sentiment, things like that. The Hearthstone community...
In fact, they ducked down behind their cover saying, oh, we're not part of this.
Because they knew that that's a sensitive thing. Why is that a sensitive thing? Because Blizzard's trying to hit it big in China right now. And,
well, they already are.
And they already are. And, you know, the timing on this is impeccable. Because I don't know if do you guys watch South Park?
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks has been South Park pretty much taking their shots at China and kind of exposing the hypocrisy that some companies have of, oh, we'll take a stand on morals while we're here, but we'll turn a blind eye to what's going on in China because there's 2.3 billion people or whatever that could buy our product. So the timing of South Park has been perfect on all of this without actually being on purpose. Let's put it that way.
Well, what South Park is saying is that China needs some integrity.
Integrity.
Well, as far as Blizzard's concerned, that's where all the gold farmers are. So, like, those people pay for those accounts to farm gold to sell gold in game to Americans that are too lazy to actually play the game.
And isn't that technically against their terms and services?
Yeah, but they don't care because it gets money transferred through their system and it makes them cash.
Yeah. So let's go back to what's going on with Hearthstone here. Also, what happened, I don't remember if I mentioned it or not, Blitzchung's winnings from this tournament were also stripped away from him as well. So the Hearthstone community, of which I'm not a part, but I know people who are, so I saw a lot of active Twitter activity, Facebook activity from people I follow who are relatively rational people that were upset and were expressing, I really don't know how to respond to this, but it feels wrong what all is going on here. There are some relatively famous Hearthstone players who shut down their Discord channels, that shut down their Blizzard accounts and said they would no longer be playing Hearthstone in light of what had happened. We had about a 5-day, 6-day window where everyone was kind of expressing their displeasure, and Blizzard was awful silent until on the 11th, I believe it was, Blizzard finally issued their statement, which a lot of people have described as bizarre. What does it come down to? The nuts and bolts of it is basically the penalties that Blizzard doled out will be reduced, not removed. Blitzchung will keep his winnings because even though he broke the tournament code of conduct rules with his statement, it had nothing to do with his gameplay. In addition to that, he hasn't been removed from a Grandmaster status, but both his suspension and the casters are now 6 months long. They can return to the scene after that period of time if they so choose to. So the casters who are fired are supposedly down to a 6-month penalty. I think at one point I had read that, I think this has evolved, because at first when I had read these things, it was the casters were still fired. Now I'm seeing in this article on Forbes that they can come back in 6 months. But it was kind of a rambly statement, and there's some key excerpts to look at here where you kind of scratch your head a little bit and go, wait, what are they doing? So let's go to their statement here. Were our actions based on the content of this message? Part of thinking globally, leading responsibly, and every voice matters is recognizing that we have players and fans in almost every country in the world. Our goal is to help players connect in areas of commonality like their passion for our games and create a sense of shared community. Here in bold is one that they were pulling out specifically. The specific views expressed by Blitzchung were not a factor in the decision we made. I want to be clear, our relationship in China had no influence on our decision. But it sort of did. So they're trying to say it wasn't what he said on stream expressing support for Hong Kong protests, but the fact he expressed personal beliefs when things are supposed to be focused on the game itself. Where does this get interesting? This is in contrast to the Blizzard Chinese Weibo statement issued in the immediate aftermath. For those that aren't familiar, Weibo is basically Chinese Twitter, where they said, quote, "We will protect or safeguard our national dignity or honor." These things are not adding up. There's other questions that came up that have been brought up in this article on Forbes I'm seeing. They ask, why has Blizzard not punished a collegiate Hearthstone team who held up a pro-Hong Kong boycott Blizzard sign during an event? Why were the casters punished for any of this at all? Because they weren't in control of that. They tried to duck down and kind of ignore it. Would Blizzard have issued a similar punishment to a player who said on stream, Hong Kong belongs to the PRC, China forever? In the West, what kind of personal expression in an interview or stream would result in a similar ban? Would someone saying Trump 2020 or vote Warren after a win result in a ban? Would someone voicing support for gay or trans rights? Would someone saying build the wall? There's a whole lot of, we don't know what the hell is going on here. It also brought up some interesting contrasts in the industry because, you know, when when things get shitty out there, then people start asking other companies, well, how are you going to react to this? Riot Games issued a statement encouraging its casters and players to keep politics and personal beliefs out of the upcoming League of Legends World Championships. And then Epic's Tim Sweeney went in the other direction, and even though 40% of his company is owned by China's Tencent, expressed explicit support for free speech and confirmed no pro Fortnite players would be banned for voicing pro Hong Kong messages in similar circumstances. So we've got some extremes here. Blizzard kind of shutting down any kind of personal statement based off of what they're saying their rules are, even though they've only done it for Hong Kong related stuff. League of Legends folks saying, just please keep it all out of there. And then Epic being like, hey, we want to be industry disruptors. Look at the Epic Game Store. So you can say that's a fair statement. Saying, say whatever the F you want. We don't care. Free speech, free speech. It's interesting.
So at this point, Blitzchung and the two people doing the interview have a suspension, but he won his money from the tournament.
He did get his money. Originally, he was not getting his money. I'm
fine with that
part. And Blitzchung's actually made a comment, and I will pull up some stuff from there as well.
Because, I mean, they do have a terms of service when you enter those tournaments and do, like, pro gameplay and stuff. You're not supposed to express, political opinions, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're supposed to be there to play the game, talk about the game, advertise the game. So the fact that they want to ban him or give him a suspension, but he still gets his money for winning the tournament, that's fair to me. Like, he won the fucking tournament. No matter what he said afterwards or before, it doesn't matter. He won the damn game. Taking his money away, that's bullshit.
Yes.
But if you play for a company, you play a game for a company, and you sign a contract that you will behave in a certain way, those are terms of service. You have to follow those. The suspension makes sense. But also, I mean, it's the whole thing of, like, you look at the Black Panther Power movement protests at the Olympics. They took their moment in the sun on camera with the world watching to raise their fist in unity. Like, this kid took his moment on camera after winning a tournament, knowing that that's the most eyes on him ever, to take his shot and state his beliefs. You can't blame him. Like, that's when you do stuff like that.
And I hope I'm not stealing any thunder here, Chris, but Blizzard also has a mission statement, like most companies do. And what's interesting is this part of their mission statement is every voice matters. Great ideas can come from anywhere. Blizzard Entertainment is what it is today because of the voices of our players and of each member of the company. Every employee is encouraged to speak up, listen, and be respectful of other opinions. And embrace criticism is just another avenue for great ideas. Unless you're talking about China.
So,
I had that last part.
It's interesting you bring that part up because Sailor Poland had mentioned in our chat room earlier, not only that, but Blizzard... sorry, I lost the chat room scrolled there. Not only that, but Blizzard is making a political statement with its mission statements and created content, multinational, sexual orientation, etc. So they're fine with political messages, but only if it's something they have researched to make sure it doesn't get them in trouble. I don't know what the right answer is here, but if they're going to get someone for Hong Kong statements... then I hope in the future if someone says something like they brought up before, like, say, Trump 2020, war in 2020, or any of these other kind of things, that they apply the same punishment. Because if they don't, it's a bad look that makes it look like, oh, shit, you're covering because you want to be in China. Like we've seen a lot of other companies do, which is we kind of ignore the things that would be going on there that might be more of a black eye and just go about our merry way. South Park, if you watched the last 2 weeks, hits on this very, very strongly. They had these things in the can. The first episode of South Park was before this Hearthstone ban had happened. It was almost like it predicted this kind of thing happening because it touches on a lot of what's going on here. And it's fascinating. And it's going to be something we continue to see evolve. I think Blizzard did the right thing in kind of giving the guy back his money, putting a 6-month suspension on him, because technically he did violate their rules. It was just a matter of whether they chose to enforce them. Now, why the streamers got suspended, I still haven't figured out, because they're the ones that are hosting this, and then all of a sudden they're like, we didn't do anything, and now we're getting suspended? What the hell?
Well, and what I'd understood from what I saw on Twitter was that they're freelancers, like they don't actually work for Blizzard. They were just doing the interview, so they had a contract for, interviewing during that game, so the Blizzard's just not going to hire them for 6 months. But the way I understood it, they knew that it was going to happen and prepped, and that's why they disappeared and basically let it happen.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
And we know why they're protecting China so much, right?
Oh, why is that, Willie?
I'm not sure if it's has it already come out. I don't know. I don't keep up with Diablo, but the Diablo mobile game, that's going to be huge in China. They want that market.
They're
and
waiting for
they
the
don't
approval
want to
for
be,
that.
Yeah, and they don't want to be kicked out of that. So yay, big company just wants Chinese money. That's the news.
Yeah, not shocking there. Yeah, and honestly, I'd heard a bunch about the Hong Kong protest, but this is the first time I've looked on the Wikipedia to see what it is they're protesting. Yeah, fuck China.
Let's try and keep the politics out of it as much as we can.
There's my opinion, you motherfuckers.
I'm just saying China needs some integrity.
So
Yeah,
before we get off this topic, though, I did mention that.
I got more.
Okay, well, let's get to Blitzchung's statement first that he put out after Blizzard kind of walked back the suspension, things like that. He wrote, I believe it was in a blog post, "First of all, I'm grateful for Blizzard reconsidering their position about my ban. Earlier this week, I told media that I knew I might have penalty or consequence for my act because I understand that every act could take the conversation away from the purpose of the event. In the future, I'll be more careful on that and express my opinions or show my support to Hong Kong on my personal platforms." He also went on to express gratitude his winnings were restored, saying people from Blizzard had explained this to me through a phone call, and I really appreciate that, and I accept the decision on their part. Regarding the reduction of the suspension, he's grateful for that, although he noted 6 months is still quite a lot to me. I wish Blizzard could reconsider about their penalty on the 2 casters involved. I tend to agree with him. 6 month suspension for them doesn't make sense. He was also asked if he'll be returning to competitive Hearthstone, saying, honestly, I have no idea on that yet, since my tournament is very likely to be Grandmaster Tournament of next season. Is probably at least a few months from now on. I will take this time to relax myself to decide if I'm staying in competitive Hearthstone scene or not. Sorry, what were you saying, Willie?
My favorite part about all this is that people started boycotting Blizzard, and they did it in some of the best ways possible, the most hilarious ways they could have done. In Overwatch, Mei is the only Chinese character, and so many people started putting up pictures of her with face mask and having support for Hong Kong. So maybe Overwatch is going to be banned in China after a while, because that's pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. It wouldn't surprise me, but again, Blizzard's probably going out there and like, hey, it's not us. We can't control what the fandom community does, things like that. So I don't know. It's a mess. Blizzard sort of backed up enough that I think the casual fans and those that were just reading up on things are kind of going, okay, the punishment sort of makes sense, but the initial reaction comes off overly harsh. Maybe a lot of people are okay with that now. I don't know. I don't play Hearthstone. I'm not a huge member of the community. I just know, looking at it, you kind of scratch your head and go, something about this just doesn't feel right. Maybe it's because the issue of Chinese censorship and ongoing expansion of folks into China is such a hot button topic, and this just kind of pushes that. Because I don't know if we would have had, or let me rephrase, I don't know if the community in Twitter, Facebook, or the Hearthstone community would have had quite the same reaction if what he had said was free Antarctica forever or something like that.
Ooh, I'm a fan of that.
I mean, I just went to a ridiculous point just to prove, because of what he was talking about, it's a hot button topic. I don't know if the reaction would have been the same if it wasn't Hong Kong he was talking about.
Yeah, if it didn't involve China that Blizzard's trying to get money from. Makes a huge difference.
And Chris, you might have a little bit more insight in this. I heard a little something about during people boycotting Blizzard, they started trying to cancel their subscriptions. And I heard they had some problems with that.
So I read a little bit on this, and then it got kind of debunked because they had a brief glitch. But when people were trying to cancel subscriptions, there's like 4 different ways you can do it. And one of the methods wasn't working, so someone had tweeted something to the effect of, oh, Blizzard's not letting me cancel my account. She tried again like an hour later, and it was working fine. So it sounded like they had a service outage of some kind temporarily.
That's
but
fair.
They were not blocking people from canceling their Hearthstone or Blizzard accounts, as far as I could tell.
And honestly, it could have been if, a giant protest pops up online, Twitter goes nuts, it gets popular for a moment, and a couple million people all try to cancel at the same time, they might have just crashed the damn servers. Yeah. The servers for doing accounts usually aren't as heavy duty as the servers for the games.
And this is just my opinion, what I think might have happened. So you can, I'm taking all this. Blizzard, you can say what you want to, but as I see it, you know what you were doing. You were catering to China, and there's no way around that. And now you're just backtracking. Like, oh, what about that? Like, everyone knows. Come on, man. It's just, I'm done here. That's all I got.
I put him on full screen. He's like, I'm done here.
That's it. People know. Don't this corporate speak. Get out of here with that.
So
perfect. Nope. All
right. So before we move off the topic here, like I said, I wasn't hugely educated on it. The quotes and the references I made in this article are pulled from 3 different news articles that I have, and if you want to go and read them for yourselves, you can go over to our show notes. That's at bit.ly. That's at bit.ly/ATGN376. ATGN is in all caps. You can find the direct links there. I also put it in the chat room, so you can read what I read for yourself. So you can see I was purposely trying not to talk out my ass here. I was trying to research. Those aren't the only articles I read, but those are the ones that I cited in our news conversation this time. I just don't want to leave any ambiguity there for it to be like, oh, Chris just flubbed this because he didn't understand it. I think I understood most of what was going on, and I like to think I read fairly well on it, but there's always a chance. So there's my supporting evidence for what was quoted. bit.ly/ATGN376.
Talking out of our ass is an ATGN staple. It's what we do.
You're not exactly wrong there. Yeah.
Hey.
You okay there, Willie?
He's just talking out of his ass.
Agreement. Yeah.
Your lips were moving though. So how were you talking out of your ass?
I'm an astriloquist.
I mean, Willie does talk all the time. We just don't see it. I mean, look right here. He's not going to move his lips. And look,
this guy's creepy.
You're a really bad puppet.
You're a very bad puppet. You're a puppet. Sorry.
Your ass is a puppet.
No, I'm a Muppet. There's a difference.
All right, your ass is a Muppet.
And kudos to Sailor Poland in the chat room, who is bringing up some other alternative quotes that if this Hearthstone player had said, we probably wouldn't have had such the fire on, such as stop oppressing Scientologists or strip mining prevents forest fires. I'm pretty sure there would not have been the global outcry that we did get. And also, we did have someone pop up in the Twitch chat who was trying to join in on the show. We don't have a call in. Sorry, Scurvy Balls Johnson, but please feel free to post in the chat room, and we will refer to any feedback.
We don't have a Discord either, do we?
And
we could get one. I was honestly considering it when he put up the Discord
because
commands.
Because you tried to do commandments for Discord. I'm like, we don't have a Discord.
I've considered it. We could put together our own ATGN Discord, but I'm kind of depressed to realize it'd be just the 3 of us in there. So
yeah, and Sailor Poland showing us videos. That would be the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I just got to figure out how to do it. So is the juice worth the squeeze?
Man, I'm feeling a little bad because I mean, it can't be easy having scurvy in your balls, right?
No, that boy needs some orange juice. Get a lime, man. Go suck a lime. Tony Tightlips said, "Go suck a lime."
You okay there, Willie?
I'm just imagining scurvy in the balls.
Well, we need to distract you away from that thought then. So, Willie, why don't you share what your news is? As soon as I saw this pop up, I was like, oh, I know what Willie's talking about this week. So, Willie, the floor is yours.
I got scurvy in my balls.
Ew.
I'm kidding.
I'm
kidding. So news came out earlier this week. Some confirmation for the PlayStation 5, as in it's going to be called the PlayStation 5. Let me file that under no shit news, because of course it's going to be the PlayStation 5. It would be ridiculous if it wasn't called that.
Let's file that under fuck you Xbox and your shitty ass naming program.
I will say the Xbox One, perfectly fine system, dumbass name. Because it's not the first one. So when I say, oh, the Xbox One, it's not the 360, it's not the one after that, it's the Xbox. Oh, no, it's the original Xbox. Now I got to add syllables to it. That's just, I'm still a little angry about that. It makes no sense. But, no, but the cool news that came out was that they talked about the new controller design, and something I'm interested in is haptic feedback on the trigger buttons. So it's going to feel a little bit resistance, or it's going to feel different regarding if you're shooting a gun or pulling a bow and arrow. So I'm interested in that. I wonder if it'll keep the touch pad, because that'd be interesting to know. Maybe they'll bring back the start and select buttons.
It seems very similar to what Nintendo started trying to do with the Joy-Cons, with what was it they called the HD Rumble, when they gave that example with 1-2 Switch, where like you use the Joy-Con like you were pouring out a glass with ice cubes in it, and you would feel the ice cubes shaking around in it. So it feels similar in that regard. The question is, how long does it get used for? Does it actually catch on, everyone uses it? And how long till Microsoft or Nintendo do something similar? Because let's be honest, Nintendo's already sort of doing it, and Microsoft, if they really wanted to, probably could also. And who knows, they might be doing it and we just don't know, because we're so early on in the next-gen Xbox and PlayStation 5 news that who knows what all the special features are.
Well, if any of the previous consoles, any of them, have any indication that they will just probably, the first couple of games that come out on the system, some of them will just overuse it. And be like, okay, this is a fun gimmick. Let me bring you back to a certain game that came on the PS3 called Lair, where you ride a dragon. That game was blasted for one reason only, because the only way you could fly your dragon is the 6-axis motion with your controller. That was the only way to control your dragon. Now, they did an update to it later on. I don't even know how much later on, where you could use normal flight stick controls. But when that game came out, that's all you could do is to fly your dragon was to move your controller with it, which does not seem the most intuitive.
No,
because there's no feedback. I mean, I can do this. What's my dragon going to do? Like, what's it going to do? It's not going to follow exactly what I'm doing, so it made no sense. But a lot of things do that.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I wonder if we're going to keep the touchpad, just because I haven't really seen many games use it to an advantage, like you don't actually write or do anything on the touchpad in game. Like, it was a heck of a change from the PlayStation 3 to the PlayStation 4, and I love the PlayStation 4 controllers, but the touchpad itself doesn't really seem to be used other than just as a button.
It had its gimmick moments when the system first came out, like with infamous Second Son. You had to use like a little thumb sensor, like when you had to go through like a checkpoint, you had to they had to scan your thumb, and so you had to do it on the controller. Some other gimmicks did like that, but mostly it's used as like a select button, like back on the PS3, it was like pressing the select button, going to the menu. That's pretty much mostly what it's used for now.
Yeah, so in regards to the rumble feature on the triggers, it sounds really cool. It's just a matter of how widely it's adopted and whether it seems gimmicky, whether people keep doing it. I agree with you, Willie. There's probably going to be tons of launch games that are overuse it, and you're like, oh, this is annoying. But the real catch would be how many third-party developers that aren't in-house adopt to use that. That would be interesting.
That's something that we have to just wait and find out.
Exactly.
Because it's up to them. Oh, and a little, and I did hear this, just a rumor. I'm not 100% on this. I saw a tweet, and some people were talking about like the wording of the tweet. The PS5 might not be fully backwards capable with the PS4, which I thought it was going to be, but it still could be. I don't know. It's just some wording on the that's translated from Japanese that could be misconstrued as like it's not full. It's weird. It's not full news, so I'm not 100% on that. But that could be an issue coming up.
It would be interesting if it wasn't fully backwards compatible with this previous generation, because it's not like the problem they had going from PS3 to PS4 or PS2 to PS3, where they changed the entire processor architecture so that you had to emulate backwards compatibility. So it would be odd to me that you can't go back with the PS5 and play PS4 games, because it's newer versions of the same hardware that's in the PS4, it seems like to me. Same kind of thing that Microsoft's been pitching for the next Xbox, whatever it actually ends up getting called. I mean, they've kind of pitched it as it'll play any Xbox game. Now, that's a combination of backwards compatibility and probably emulation via the cloud. But The real question, though, for both companies is how long do people care? They occasionally scratch that itch to play a game they love, and then do they really go back and play a ton of back catalog games?
Are you ready for it, Chris?
How many people bought those Nintendos?
Are you ready?
So,
is this like a Generation X moment we're about to have here?
No, not at all.
Are you ready?
I mean, Bachman can still suck it, but that's not what I'm talking about. No.
Generation X proudly presents to you.
Oh, we're done here. No pageantry.
We're
done with your pageantry.
I'll do it.
No, are you ready for the ray tracing in the next gen consoles? The ray tracing.
Aren't we getting pseudo ray tracing with the PS5?
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Pseudo ray tracing. It's not fully ray tracing. It's like
I heard it's going to be fully ray. It's going to be all the ray tracing you can have, tracing all the rays.
It sounds like a cool concept. If it works the way it's supposed to, like that's some serious processor like power, but it could make for some very fucking cool looking games.
You're not wrong.
We might start getting, the realistic stuff that looks even better than like the Fantastic or the Final Fantasy CGI movies. Like the games might be stepping up past that level, which, at some point video games are going to look almost like fully rendered movies. Like it's going to be kind of cool.
I've seen some gameplay of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it has made me interested. And that looks a lot better than what was that movie that came out for Final Fantasy VII?
Final Fantasy. Oh,
Advent Children.
Advent Children. Yeah.
Advent Children.
I thought we were talking about the Final Fantasy VII.
No, not the Spirits Within.
Spirits Within, because that was hot garbage. That's one of the movies. There's 2 movies I've gone to and walked out of. That was one of them.
I remember as a kid watching it, and I just didn't understand it at all.
That and Scary Movie 3, I walked out of both.
Oh God, why would you go see Scary? You should have known what you were getting into.
Yeah, if you went to see Scary Movie 3, you should have known exactly what you're going to get.
It was summer, and I had just recently gotten my driver's license, and I didn't want to be at my house.
Did you get your money back? Did you get a refund?
No, but it was at the discount theater, so it was like the $3.50 ticket, so it really didn't matter a ton to me. It was an excuse.
You got
to get
$3 worth.
Hey, that could have been $3.50 of gas money. You could have gone somewhere else, buddy.
I could have gone somewhere else. It would have been. It wasn't gas money with that car. It was diesel money, Willie. I drove a diesel as my first car.
I'm using gas as just a coverall for any kind of fuel, man.
Coverall for any kind of fuel. So what other stuff you've been hearing about PS5, Willie? What other stuff's come out? I know Wired had like some in-depth article, but I didn't have a chance to read it.
It will be able to play 4K Blu-rays, which is nice to hear. The game disc will be coming out on, I was surprised to see this, 100 gigabyte disc, which that surprised the hell out of me, but I didn't know they made 100 gigabyte disc for Blu-rays, but there you go.
Yeah, a couple years ago, they were talking about Sony was working on a technology for an expanded, like, double definition Blu-ray disc, and we've never gotten them as like a new advanced technology. So it might just be something where they're advancing the technology and not really making it a big like public change. It's not another fight between Blu-ray and HD. It's just, hey, the discs are getting better.
Yeah, I'm happy we didn't have any kind of format war again. Like, I guess it skips a generation because we had beta and VHS, and then just DVD came out, and I was like, yeah, I'm here. And then Blu-ray HD DVD, and now it's just 4K. There's nothing else. 4K Blu-ray.
It's 4K Blu-ray though. I mean, they basically
I guess that's like a half
Blu-ray
step.
and made it better. It's a half step.
Yeah, it's a half step.
Kind of like the Xbox One X or PS4 Pro.
Wars. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know that.
And we all know whatever the next format is, all you got to do is watch the porn industry because they lead the way.
Yeah. Well,
I think that might be a little bit over. I mean, especially now. Yeah, it's not going to make any sense now. Seriously, send some mail to tweet me. See, do you actually still buy physical porn? I want to hear about your porn selections.
They still sell it, so somebody does.
Okay, so
yes, they still do.
So, 34-year-old man here on the show, I've never bought porn. Let's put it that way.
Oh, so I am the last of a dying generation.
I mean, I bought porn younger, so
I bought porn. I bought movies. I bought hard copy magazines. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did you forget that I own Pirates?
Oh, we know you bought porn. There wasn't a question about whether or not you had.
To be fair, I was
fair.
no pageantry. I was talked into it by an ex-girlfriend. So
Talked into it, yeah. Because guys really have to be talked
Yeah.
into buying porn.
Here's
yes, I had to because it was $60 fucking dollars.
Here's how you talk Willie into buying porn if you're a woman. Hey, Willie, want to watch this porn?
There you go. It was a short conversation.
But now you're just like, all right, let me turn on the internet on TV. Here we go, porn.
But it's not
What
that
kind of porn you
specific
looking for? They got a little bit of everything.
Willie, they want to watch the Star Wars parody porn with you. You got to buy it for them.
You can
There
find
you
that
go.
online,
Oh, I'm sure you
guaranteed. Listen, if you're pirating porn, I don't care. Pirate all the porn you want. It's not going to hurt the industry that much. It's still rolling. How do they make their money? I don't understand.
Advertising on Pornhub.
Maybe.
Oh, I just saw a fucking advertisement on Pornhub. It was hilarious. It was for a movie. What movie was it for?
See,
I was like,
advertising on Pornhub works,
for
people.
Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I was
Yes,
like,
they did a
Kevin
mini
Smith
porn.
knows his audience. Let's be honest here.
I was just surprised. Like, what the? Why am I seeing Jay and Silent Bob porn? All right, that's hilarious.
Because Bob's going to eat that ass. That's why.
You know,
Oh man, you ever had your asshole eaten out by a fat man in an overcoat? No.
you guys
There
do
you
know
go.
that Jan Silent Bob reboot like hits theaters on Tuesday, right?
Yep.
Well,
And
it
it's
was not
it's
me.
showing. It's showing once in my theater on Tuesday, and then I can't find any other showings. And I'm like, I work during the week.
Well,
I don't like to go
the-
to theaters. 7 p.m. on
well,
Tuesday sucks.
The Spectrum Events thing is it's 2 special showings on Tuesday and Thursday where, if I remember correctly, the Tuesday showing you get the movie and then a bunch of extras after it. And then the Thursday showing on where those are happening, they're gonna show Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back followed by Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. So depending on which one you go to, that's why they actually are Spectrum Events. They're not just showing the movie. Both of those, the Tuesday and Thursday showings, are different versions of the film getting different events, and then they're hoping it'll eventually go nationwide later with just the regular version of the movie.
Interesting. It's tough for me to do things like that during the week, but I guess good more power to those that are able to do it. Because I want to see Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Is Spectrum a theater chain?
I don't think so because
I heard you guys using that word. I don't know what that's in reference
it's like a
to. this
Spectrum
movie.
event. It's like those Fathom events, I think.
Or yeah, Fathom Events. Maybe that's what it's called. But yeah,
Let me
it's
see.
an event that takes place, but I think any theater can host them. They're just like a company that puts the event together. They're like an event coordinator for theaters.
I didn't know it was coming out. Let me see if it's going to be in my.
Yeah, it's the 15th and 17th, I believe.
So we went off the path a little bit here, but stepping back to PS5, I did see some of the stuff in there was they would have a solid state hard drive in it, so that would lead to quicker load times. And I think one of the things that got thrown around in the Wired article was doing a not quick save, it's the quick transport in Spider-Man, where you can click on the map and then choose to transport somewhere, and you go on the subway. They were saying on the PS4 you'd have like 29 seconds of load time theoretically, where you're just on the train. And like the PS5, it was done in like a second, as some of the comparison stuff. So I don't know how factual that is. It's interesting stuff. We're going to find out a lot more about the next Xbox and the PS5 here, considering they're all coming out. Holiday 2020, I think, got confirmed for both devices.
Yep.
I can get Jay and Silent Bob reboot tickets.
Are you going, Willie?
I mean, I do have the Regal Movie Pass, so why not?
Yeah, on Fathom Events, it says October 18th. There's an intro and a poster included in the movie viewing.
On the 18th?
And
The Friday?
Or 15th. And then the 17th is the double feature. So yeah, so it's 2 different versions of the movie.
Yeah, they do have the double feature on, but I can't do that Thursday because that's also the day Jackbox Party Pack 6 comes out, and I'm already doing something then, so I can't do that.
Always got to get his Jackbox.
Hey. You know you jack your box, too. Don't lie to me.
I don't have a box. I jack my dick. You can jack your box all you want, you weirdo.
It's called a metaphor, you uncultured swine.
No, it's not.
I just said it was.
It was more like a simile, you silly bitch.
All right, so I guess I'm going Tuesday.
So, did you have any other PS5 stuff you wanted to bring up before we transition off of it? Because we've gotten horribly distracted.
I mean, that's normal for the show. We're not in control unless we're out of control. But yeah, That's all I got because it's not much they've given out yet. Just that little bit of news, yes, it's called the PlayStation 5. What else were you gonna call it? I'm just now wondering: is the PlayStation VR gonna work with it as well?
I would assume they will probably want to try and bring that peripheral along. I don't know. The question we had in the chat room was Sailor Poland asking, will crossplay still be enabled? And my guess is yes, since they just turned it on for PS4, but they haven't said.
That'd be dumb to turn it on for a year, then turn it right back off.
Yeah, it's still on for
that
PS4.
Would be a terrible decision. No, I'm saying that right now. If you do that, terrible decision, Sony.
But Willie,
although you're making a lot more money than I am, so what the hell do I know?
The real question is, will I be able to play my Fortnite on it still? Because I need my Fortnite.
That was going to be another question I had.
Fuck Fortnite.
This is going to be the first time that this is going to be an issue, is these games as a service. Are they gonna do anything to update them or anything for these new systems? Or are they just gonna port them over and not really put any bells and whistles? I don't know. I'm a little curious.
Well, we got a year to find out. I would assume that based off the fact that Epic makes so much money off Fortnite and similar with what's the name of it? EA with Apex Legends and stuff like this, that they would probably do something. The original thing you might get is just a straight up port, and then you might start getting things like, look, we have enhanced visuals now on our PS5 and Xbox, whatever the hell we're calling it, versions of the game. That's just a guess based off of the similar path we've seen with, I guess the best analogy would be, how have we seen updates and graphics and stuff for games that are Xbox One X or PS4 Pro enabled? Generally, it's like a extra option you can download and you get better visuals. I would assume these games as services would do something similar. And this is just assumption, though.
Oh, I just remembered another rumor. I don't fully know it. I heard it might come out with 2 different models for the PS5 when it gets released, like a base model and I'm guessing like a pro model. I'm not 100% on that. I don't think anyone has the full specs on that, if they're doing that or not. I just heard it, so just want to let you know.
Rumors on rumors.
That's what my life's all about.
So,
and plus, I got my rumors cleared up last week.
So stay tuned to the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, as Willie's going to share all the PS5 rumors because he's an aficionado of the PlayStation console.
But I'm not a fanboy.
I purposely did not say fanboy. I think we should.
Oh no, I just want to state that. I didn't say you did. I'm just stating
because
that.
I know you don't like the term fanboy, so I determined I would not call you a PlayStation fanboy.
No, I mean, because a fanboy to me is someone who just defends blindly. Yeah, no, I'm saying Xbox is a perfectly fine system. I have a Switch. It's a perfectly fine system. The exclusives for the Switch are fucking amazing. I can't say anything bad about them, but I just prefer PlayStation ever since the PS3 because Blu-ray won the format war. What do you want from me?
$5? Can you give me $5?
I think you got more $5 than I got $5.
Yep.
Can I get $5?
Doesn't matter.
You
You
asked
offered
what I wanted, and I want $5.
That
you
was
offered, so now you owe Chris $5.
The royal you.
Do you have Google Pay on your cell phone? You can send me money that way. It takes like seconds. Just send me my $5. Where's my money, Nelson? Where's my money?
You owe him $5. Pay up.
Hey, Bachman, what's your news of the week?
My news of the week is Willie owes Chris $5.
Well, Willie's going to continue to owe Chris $5 till the end of eternity.
So what do you got for us, Anthony?
Or until he watches Fifth Element.
Let's see if that happens.
My news of the week is it was rumored and then confirmed, and then it's now live on the public test build. Dead by Daylight has got itself a battle pass. So one of the things we've been looking forward to big time, especially me and Willie, who play Dead by Daylight, is the fact that in this game, cosmetics for the survivors and killers are excessively expensive. Buying like an entire outfit for a character is like a minimum of $10. I think most of them are 20. Like to get a head, an outfit, and a weapon is like $10 to $20.
I think max is $10 for a single outfit.
Or max is 10. Either way, it's super expensive. The Oryx cells in the game are kind of nuts. And one of the things that's been awesome about Apex Legends, especially in the second, third seasons after they kind of had a little trouble with their first season battle pass, is that in the last 2 seasons, buying the battle pass, the premium, gives you 3 outfits right at the beginning. and then you've gotten really cool outfits during it. I'm honestly playing the Apex Season 3 Battle Pass simply to get the Lifeline skin. Like, if there was nothing else in the Battle Pass, the Lifeline skin is so cool looking, it's worth the money. And so Dead by Daylight's getting their own. I went on the public test build last night, actually tried it out just to check it out, see how it looks, how it works. And what they've done is they've broken theirs up. With it being a 4x1 asymmetrical, you either have to play Survivor or Killer. Their Battle Pass has to work a little differently. So what they've done is you have Survivor challenges versus Killer challenges versus General challenges throughout what is basically a blood web type thing called the Tome. And so you go into the Tome and you choose either if you want to do a Killer's challenge or a Survivor challenge to start moving your way across the Tome. And so they have regular ones where you can it doesn't matter how long it takes to do them. You just, however long it takes. So I think the very first one for Survivors is bring the light, repair a total of 2 generators. Very simple, but if you get 2 bad games, it might take you 2 matches to do. Then you have what are called Master Challenges, where the next one on the list is called Savior, unhook 2 survivors safely. So that means you have to get 2 safe unhooks in the same match. So if you only get one in the first match, that won't count, and you won't progress on the little chart. The cool thing is that they made it to where you can go in. Last night, I tried to get a Killer match on the public test build. Everything on there is reset so many times, so both my ranks are 20, so it's really hard to get matches when people are playing. And also, it's a little late in the weekend, so people have already fallen off of the public test build. They went and looked at the archive, and they're gone. And so I was sitting there waiting to try to get a doctor match. Couldn't get anybody, so I switched my challenge over to the Survivor challenge. Clicked on David, loaded up, got a match in like 5 minutes. Went in, did 2 generators, got my rift points. I got my progression bar. I unlocked the first thing, and then I went back into the Tome and clicked over on the Killer challenge, and you just switch back and forth. So if you want to switch from Killer to Survivor at any time, you just switch which challenge you're working on, and that's it. And then, yeah, the ones for the general ones where it's like earning blood points are kind of funny because as you're moving forward through the Tome, you'll select a challenge, and basically by selecting it, you've already completed it, and so you just get blood points for selecting it. But yeah, so you'll move along, and then you get in the Battle Pass, what they've added in for the Rift is what they're calling the Battle Pass. You got 70 levels of progression, just like Apex Legends, and I believe Fortnite, you have a free level, and then you have a premium pass level that you pay for. So in the free level, you get some outfits, you get a couple of the new charms, and the premium one, you get something every single level as you go through. And then throughout the progression, they have charms, they have weapons for the Killers, they have outfits for the Killers and the Survivors, and then the important part is they also have Auric cells. In Dead by Daylight, Auric cells is the money you pay, or the in-game cash transaction coins is basically what they are. So
that you have to buy. One of the
upsides that I love about Apex Legends is if you bought the first season Battle Pass and then played all the way through 110 levels, you got enough Apex coins to buy the next Battle Pass. And that is what Behavior has done with the Rift as it stands in the public test build. If you pay to buy 1,000 Auric cells, as you progress through the entire Battle Pass, if you complete all 70 levels, you will gain 1,000 Auric cells, which gives you enough to buy the next season. So they're giving you incentive to do the entire thing. You're going to get, I think, Hybrid Panda on his video, he looked through it and he said, if you complete the Battle Pass, you get 4 or 5 complete outfits for Killers and Survivors. Which, if you look at the idea that at least one of those was $10 a piece minimum, and these are also all new cosmetics that aren't available in game. They're all brand new, all created just for this first season. And so, I mean, if they were $10 each, you're talking $50 just for those costumes. And then you also have the charms, which it's funny that charms got added into Dead by Daylight and Apex Legends at the same season, and it's very different because they're very different games. One being a first-person looter shooter, and the other one being an asymmetrical horror fighter. In Apex Legends, you get gun charms that hang off of your gun that just kind of jingle and look kind of cool on some of them. What they've added in Dead by Daylight is for Survivors, you get charms that get added to the belt loops on the left hip of your character. And the first one you get when you first open the Rift, when you buy it, which it was also nice on the public test build, they give everybody 2,000 Auric cells that won't transfer back to your account when the public test build drops down, but to let people buy levels in the past to check it out. And the first one you get is what looks like a little Funko Pop of Claudette. And so it's an actual character toy that hangs from your character's belts. And then they have little icons like there's a gear for installing a new part. There's a company logo from what is it, the masonry, one of those. But yeah, it's like for one of the maps. And then there's also like the funky flowers from the holiday event. So when you get them as a survivor, some of them go back and forth from survivor and killer, like the pustule flower. If you put it on your survivor, it hangs off their belt like a little keychain. If you put it on your killer, it doesn't go on the killers. It goes on your hooks. So when you go to the customized window for the killers, you have the 3 charm logos, and you get to put things on the hooks, and they actually hang on both sides of your hooks all throughout the map in every match you go to. So the killers now have the ability to customize their hooks, just make things a little bit different, change things up a little bit. It's a simple small cosmetic, but it's something cool. It's cute. It's not game breaking, but it's fun. Nice little things.
Adds replayability.
Yeah, replayability gives you little things to get. When the first level of the battle pass, it's got the little Claudette, and then for the killers, it has, what was it called? The evil puppet. It's this gruesome looking little. It looks like a steak filled with knife shards that has a face painted on it, kind of like the Trapper, and it has one arm, and it's like the creepiest looking little mutant toy ever. And when you hang that on a hook, it looks really fucking creepy. And yeah, you add that to the costumes, all the stuff that's available in the Battle Pass, in the Rift and the Archive. It's going to be like a really, really good update to the game. It's giving you replayability. It's giving you a reason to play Survivor and Killer, which honestly, I'd rather play Killer and be able to unlock everything, but that's not an option now. If you want to unlock all of it, you're going to have to play both. And so I do kind of like that, because you get a lot of people that only play Killer and people that only play Survivor, and it makes the game better when people are going back and forth and doing both sides of it. And then also there was some huge changes for the nurse. Got not a full rework like Freddy. Her power didn't change, but they gave her a partial rework where now you start off with a default 2 blinks. Her power recharges, so you can't spam the blinks like you used to. You only have the ability through add-ons to add up to 1 blink. But what they did was they gave her a bunch of add-on changes where her add-ons will now increase her speed. Because the nurse is the slowest fucking killer in the game, and when you're not blinking, survivors can literally just run away from you. And on PC, nurse is a high-tier killer, and in the high ranks, the super good killers with the nurse are like hard to get away from, because they're really good at just teleport landing right on you and hitting you. On PS4, she's a fucking giant pain in the ass, and of the original killers, she's the only one I don't have the adept on, because she's a giant pain in the ass to play. So I'm looking forward to a new change to the nurse that hopefully will make her a little more playable on the PlayStation. But yeah, they did a huge pass on that, bunch of bug fixes and stuff, which is standard for any pass. And then it looks like with the size, the dates that they have on the Rift, more than likely it's going to be every mid-chapter release. We're going to get a new Rift, new Battle Pass for Dead by Daylight. So I will now be spending a lot of my time switching back and forth, trying to figure out how I can do an hour of Apex and at least an hour of Dead by Daylight damn near every day, just so I can keep all my Battle Passes updated and get all my shit unlocked.
Yeah. And when should it come out for public use?
The public, this one, let's see, because this is going until Tuesday for the public test build. I believe the announced date is the 22nd. So they've already found a couple of problems where the speed decrease thing on the nurse has caused some game crashes and computer blue screens. Monto and Hybrid Panda both put up videos where you would go to do the blink, you'd hit somebody and the speed increase would happen, and all of a sudden their screen started doing this jittery shit. And Monto actually showed during that, if you picked up a character and tried to hook them, your entire game locks up. Like, it literally just stops in front of the hook. Nothing's moving. You can't exit. Like, it literally just crashes the game. But it locks it. So yeah, they've already seen problems. They've already got reports on stuff that they're hopefully fixing. But allegedly it will be out on the 22nd. So we'll have the new Halloween event. We will have the tome. We will have the archive. And then as you're unlocking stuff in the archive, you also get cinematics. You get background story on killers, on survivors, and apparently we will learn about the Observer, who is the man sitting inside the archive, and he's like twisting this weird-looking little like magical sphere thingy, and apparently he's the guy that holds all the lore about the world in which the entity exists and why these characters are all where they are. So it's also going to be world building on top of everything, which I kind of like because it makes it very different from like an Apex Legends or a Fortnite, where Behavior is really interested in the story of the world as well for these survivors and these killers. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun Halloween. Lots of good scary shit coming for Dead by Daylight. It's gonna be fun.
So I don't play Dead by Daylight. I've mentioned that before, but I do know that one Willie D. Nelson does. So Willie, how does this make you feel? You've been getting yourself a Dead by Daylight Battle Pass when it's available. You're muted.
As soon as I can.
So Behavior's got $20 right here because they're gonna get 10 from me and 10 from Willie.
I mean, I just enjoy the game anyway, so I'm gonna get it.
Willie's going to play it on his Switch, of course, because that's the best way to play it.
You can screw right off that Switch version. I still say that Switch version should not ever been a thing.
They wanted more money, which probably helped them pay for employees to build stuff like the Battle Pass. So yay, Switch version. I don't care if it sucks. I don't have a Switch. I'll be playing on PS4 and maybe some PC later today. I might stream a doctor match if I can in the public test build to show off the archive a little bit.
You would.
Yeah, I would. If I can get a damn match at rank 20.
That's the dream. I don't know enough about the game to be able to chime in that much. I've played it once because it was one of the games with gold, or it's either part of Game Pass. I can't remember. So I have it on my Xbox. I've played it a few times. Not a ton. Sorry.
Yeah. It's definitely, if you're playing by yourself, it's definitely fun to play as a killer because you don't have to worry about all the scary noises and stuff. Playing solo by Survivor is a little tougher. What's even tougher than that is playing Survivor with Willie when he's your friend, because I'm rank 14 and I suck, and he's like rank 2 again. And so the killers I'm going against are rank 2, and they just murder face me, and I don't have much of a chance. I'm not good. I can't loop. My running skills suck. But I get bored just playing Blendette. I don't want to just spend the whole goddamn match hiding.
Well, then don't. Be proactive.
That's what I've been doing. You haven't seen me play Blendette. I haven't played Blendette in a month.
I need you to take chase so I don't get chased.
I don't take chase. I get chased, get down, get dead, and then that's only 30 seconds. You don't have time to do a generator.
I don't know what any of this means.
I know. It's like we're talking
happens.
Greek.
I know.
You mean Latin?
You could talk that too. I wouldn't know.
Ain't nobody
either.
speaks Latin.
My high school had Latin classes in it. You could take Latin, French, or Spanish.
I did take Latin.
Willie's...
Where'd you take it?
What?
Where'd you take it? You take it out to dinner?
High school.
Take it to a movie?
I think it's more a Southern thing to have Latin as a foreign language class in high school.
Yeah, they didn't offer that in any of the schools I went to.
I took it.
I took France and Spanish.
How many semesters of Latin did you take, Willie?
Dose.
God damn it. Well played. Well played.
Paying out.
That being said, that does wrap up our coverage of the news of the week. I'm sure we'll have other news next week, or there's other things we could have talked about, but this is what interests us the most, damn it, so we're going to talk about it. Looking at the time, though, we do need to start wrapping up this week's version of the podcast, but before we do, we have a little segment called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you guys who are watching live or listening at a later date just what kind of geeky and or nerdy things we've been getting into, so that maybe you'll want to go and check those out yourself. So I'm going to throw things to one Willie D. Nelson. He's going to kick us off. Willie, what you been getting into?
Well, not a whole lot, but I did get a TV show that I haven't seen since Netflix a long time ago. I can't remember what year I watched it, but it's Todd and the Book of Pure Evil. I bought it digitally because that's the only place you can find it. So it's on my digital. It's a great show. It's pretty much if Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Ash versus the Evil Dead had a baby, that's pretty much what this show is. It's Canadian as well, and it has a certain McMurray in it as well too.
Oh, McMurray's in it?
McMurray's in it with hair metal hair.
Nice.
Oh, it is so springy.
I've heard of this show before, actually.
Springy?
I've not seen it, but I've heard it's pretty good.
Oh, it is great. I fully enjoy it, and I would highly recommend it. If you liked Ash vs. Evil Dead, because it does feel like that a lot. I'm just assuming people that worked on Ash vs. Evil Dead also worked on this, because it feels really close in tone, like weirdly, oddly close in tone. So if you like Ash vs. Evil Dead, you like Todd and the Book of Pure Evil, which, now think about it, it's kind of very similar. concepts.
It's probably a
But
play on it.
But well, I mean, this was before Ash vs. Evil Dead even came out. But throw into Buffy because they're still in high school and Freak of the Week type thing. It's still good fun. And since it's Canadian, I don't know what channel it came on, but they got a little bit raunchy with it, and it's hilarious. No nudity or anything. Wait, was there? Not that I remember.
Raunchy.
Not that I remember, but it does go some places. And I do like how one of the characters just is missing an arm, and that's just part of him. Like, it's just he's missing
Part
an
of
arm.
his charm.
Yeah, he doesn't really. They don't really like. It's not really a factor a whole lot. It's just, I mean, they explain it like the end of the first season, but it doesn't really even need to be explained because it's just, yeah, I'm just a dude with the one arm, and that's about it. Like, we don't have to pull attention to it, so I like that fact a lot. It's just there. I'm still doing things. That's all there needs to be. But other than that, Dead by Daylight. I've really been doing a whole lot this week. But did I? Okay, yeah. So I did finally order some headphones for the PlayStation because I've been using these little earbuds since my other ones broke, so it's not been too fun. And I actually got the PlayStation Gold headset, so I'm hoping it's going to be good. It's coming in tomorrow. And apparently I can use it on this computer for the podcast too, so I'll be having some headphones in for that too. The wording is always weird, but I can't think of anything else I've been getting into. I did get to the fair. Yeah, I'm done. The fair wasn't even all that great. I had one goal going to the fair. I had one goal, and it failed me. Ever since I heard about this
elephant
fair food, this fair food, I heard about, I don't even know, like 7 years ago or something like that. I have yet to see any of it. I'm still disappointed. I want to try some fried Kool-Aid. What is fried Kool-Aid? I don't know what exactly. I want to try it because it sounds interesting. I don't know fully what it is. I think they just put the packet of flavoring into some dough mix. I don't know. But it has piqued my interest. But I did try fried Oreos for the first time. That was interesting.
So it sounds like, just from a quick Google search, that
Weird.
they're basically making a dough out of Kool-Aid mixed in with other things and then dropping that in the deep fryer.
Which I want to try it. But I couldn't. They had a place that's selling gators and taters. They had alligator meat, but no fried Kool-Aid. I was disappointed.
Yeah, it's basically a drop donut recipe that you put Kool-Aid into.
And that sounds super interesting.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah. The pictures for it don't actually look bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look terrible.
Yeah, it's just like it'd be like a really sugary, sweet donut.
Well, I mean, Kool-Aid mix has no sugar in it.
There's sugar-free and there is sugar Kool-Aid.
Are they doing, just the Kool-Aid packet, or are they mixing the sugar in with it?
Well, I mean, you add sugar to
and then
the
making
Kool-Aid
the dough
packet in the water.
Some require that, some come with sugar in it, some are also sugar-free
Oh,
Kool-Aids.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about those things that come in the containers. You just dump the powder, like the whole big container.
I assume that's how
you
they're
take a little-
making the fried Kool-Aid. They're not taking liquid form of it, I don't think.
Well, I mean, like the little packets, like little individual packets. They don't have any sugar in those.
I don't know. I don't.
But
use
they could still.
Kool-Aid very
They
often.
could
I'm
still add
telling you
sugar.
they don't.
They could still add sugar to those
I know.
packets when they mix it in the dough.
I'm
so
not.
that it's
Well,
sweet.
well, they're adding it with the packet. There's no sugar in the packet. This is my whole thing. We're moving on. Fried Kool-Aid. Go try it out if you can. Tell me if it's good or not.
I don't think I've ever seen that stuff yet.
I haven't either.
I've seen the fried Snickers bar. I've seen the fried Oreo.
Have you
I
had?
think I saw fried butter at one place.
What about
I
the fried
refused to eat
Twinkie?
that. I didn't do the fried Twinkie. I've done the fried Snickers bar. I've done the fried Oreo. The fried Snickers bar was actually really good. It was ridiculously gooey. It was just all a chocolatey mess. But yeah, the fried butter was the one I saw that was like, oh no, like there's people just eating sticks of butter. What is wrong with y'all?
I don't know.
I mean, I could also try fried Reese cups, deep fried rice Reese cups, and that sounds interesting,
That
but I
could be
did not.
I would try that. I like me a Reese's peanut butter.
And here's for your clip. I also had a foot-long corn dog.
Was it tasty?
It really was tasty.
Did you put
Willie
mustard
put
on
12 inches in his mouth.
Nope, I just ate it as it came.
it?
You said it. You said it. Yeah.
Thank you, Willie.
He ate that 12 inches as it came.
Thank you, Willie. Well, I'll go next to what I've been getting into because it's pretty short. I've been a little busy with work and other things, so watched a few things on TV, just getting caught up with. And I made a point for the second week in a row of watching live AEW Dynamite because, like I said, last professional wrestling fan, kind of getting back on board with things. And there's just something about watching it live. Now, I was about 20 minutes behind and caught up because of commercials. I'm having a lot of fun with it. There's good wrestling. There's good promos. Chris Jericho at 48 years old might be having the best run of his career because they basically give him the microphone and say, go talk about something. And he goes out there and talks about something. And even when there's a promo he's doing where the crowd goes on a chant, Jake Hagar, who you might have known as Jack Swagger in the WWF/WWE, he's an MMA fighter with Bellator now. He's actually on the AEW roster. He's joined Chris Jericho's stable as basically the enforcer. And when Jericho's out there introducing people, he brings up Jake Hagar as one of the most dangerous men in the world. And the fans start the We the People chant that was associated with his WWE character. Jericho goes, hold on. He goes, that's a terrible, I can't remember the exact phrasing of it, but something to the effect of, that's a terrible statement from terrible creative. It's dead now. And killed it right then. Like last week, the fans have been chanting that about Jake Hagar, and he killed it. And nobody talked about that. Nobody brought that statement up or anything after that. He went completely off of whatever script he might have put together in his head and killed it right then and there. Jericho at 48 has people eating out of the palm of his hand out there. He's always been one of the best at promos, and I'm really enjoying watching him get to be, how do I put this best, the older guy out there that you can build around, who's putting people over and who has just basically got a stable of young talent now that while they're his minions in script purposes, he's putting them over and giving them the rub because they work for the world champion, and he's making legitimate threats.
He's doing for a bunch of the AWE kids what Flair did for the Batista and Randy Orton when they were, what was it, Revolution or whatever? Evolution. Yeah, it's the older veteran that kicks ass that people will show up to see that person, and they're making a name for the business. And once again, we have to say thank you, DDP. After Jericho's back injuries, he was going to retire. He's given up weightlifting, and he says basically now all he does is DDP yoga, and he's never felt better, and he's 48, and he's the champ of a brand new wrestling organization. That's insane.
It is insane.
No one at his age should be starting another wrestling career, and he just signed a 3-year contract with AEW. Like, thank you, DDP. He's fucking helped so many of these guys. I love it.
I think DDP has some affiliation with AEW. I'm not sure he works directly with them, but they do have former professional wrestlers from WWE that work in the back room for them and stuff, in addition to others they've brought over. But it's been surprising how good it's been. And some people had complaints or concerns that, all it's going to happen is the Elite are going to be on here and they're just going to put themselves over everyone. Well, they're doing a tag team tournament right now to crown the champions. And the first round match was the Young Bucks against Private Party. The Young Bucks, one of the most dynamic tag teams out there. They're incredibly captivating. They're part of the group called the Elite. They put Private Party over as the opening match this week. Lost clean to them.
Nice.
And everyone was like,
it wasn't even a cheat. They lost clean.
Everyone's like, holy shit. The Young Bucks just put these guys over, and they just made them stars by doing that. And I guess they did an interview with Matt and Nick at some point in time where they said, our intent is we never have to win. We can put people over. We want to build new people. And it's looking really interesting. And I've got a better appreciation for Cody Rhodes now as things have gone on. He's actually going to be taking on Jericho for the title belt in Baltimore next month, assuming Jericho doesn't lose it before then. They've established and created a lot of new people that I'm interested in, and it's fresh. So while I can't say I'm going to watch it live every week, I really did enjoy watching live and tweeting about it after the fact. And I really do like what they're doing with their YouTube series, which is like AEW After Dark or something like that, where all the dark matches they record before they do the live shows on Wednesdays, they put them out for free on YouTube the next Tuesday, and you can watch those dark matches on YouTube perfectly for free because that's how they designed it to be, with the actual commentary team who did commentary on it as well. It's pretty cool, and I like what they're doing, and it brings back a lot of that nostalgia for pro wrestling. So I'm going to keep watching Dynamite.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because I don't have cable, so I don't have the option of watching the show on TNT, but I did get a notification from YouTube in my subscriptions that AEW Dark Episode 1 was available on Tuesday, and so it's on my to-watch list, and it is literally an hour and 28 seconds. It is a full hour-long Dark House show, and it's the whole damn thing. Mm-hmm. That's fucking awesome. I can't wait to watch that.
And I do know that the AEW YouTube channel has been putting up a bunch of segments out of Dynamite this weekend. You can watch a lot of it there. I'm sure there are also less reputable sources on YouTube that have the entire show on there because you always see it for WWE shows and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's just a matter of whether it's taken down. Like I said, I was a lapsed professional wrestling fan, and this got my interest with a couple pay-per-views and really enjoying it. I can't wait to see where they go with it next. And I'm all about the supposed Wednesday Night Wars right now because all it is competition builds better product for everyone. And I love it.
That's true.
I'm totally on board with it. I can't wait to see where they go with it next. But that's the major thing I'm getting into. I've still been playing that 911 operator game on my Switch and a little bit of Link's Awakening. And that's about it. So that wraps up my bit of it. Anthony, what have you been getting into?
Been watching videos on the AEW YouTube channel because I want them to get the ad revenue and the clicks. So not watching the disreputable ones, only watching the ones on their actual YouTube channel. Been watching a bunch of just the updates for all the different videos, all the guys doing the stuff for the Rift and the Tome and the Archive. Watching Mondo and Hybrid Panda play the updated version of Nurse, which it looks like it's gonna be a much easier version to play, even though Panda doesn't play that character that often, so he was having trouble with it at first, and then turned it around and had a really good game. So what else did I watch this week? Oh, I started watching Raising Dion on Netflix finally, where a kid's dad dies, and then you end up finding out that the kid's got superpowers, and there's a mystery about why the dad died, whether or not he knew about the powers, what was happening. And so far, like 3 episodes in, and you're talking to like a 7-year-old kid, so like it's a little kid, and he discovers he's got superpowers. And so far, he has telekinesis and teleportation, and you're not even sure yet at this point if that's all he can do. And it's really cool the way they've set up some of the stuff, because like his teleportation, like literally, like he's out at the lake with his mom chasing a squirrel, and the squirrel goes running up a tree, and he's like, "No fair, no climbing." And next thing you know, he teleports like 30 feet in the air, and he's up on a tree branch, scared to death, because he's a 7-year-old kid and he doesn't know how he got up there. So like the way that they deal with his powers and him kind of freaking out, it's really cool. And the kid on the show is a fantastic actor for such a little kid. But yeah, great show. It's got Jason Ritter is the godfather of the kid. So he was and it's Michael B. Jordan's son in the show. So Michael B. Jordan's in it, and Michael B. Jordan produced the show. So I mean, it's got serious talent there. And then Jason Ritter plays the godfather and ex-best friend of Michael B. Jordan, who's at the start of the show is supposedly dead. I haven't finished the season yet, so I don't know. But yeah, I've been watching that. It's really good. I'm 3 or 4 episodes in. Looking forward to finishing that. It's a really cool concept, and just seeing a kid deal with superpowers, like the way they're doing it's really good. And the special effects are fantastic. And then started Halloween stuff. So watched Nightmare again. I watched what was the other one I watched this week? Hold on, another one of my scary movies. Oh, I rewatched American Wolf in London. My original very favorite scary movie that I saw when I was 5 years old when it hit HBO. And it just, it's such a good film. And it's got some of the most creepiest dark comedy ever. David, I'm fucking stuck in the afterlife. His buddy fucking talking to him in the theater to introduce him to the other people he's murdered. Then the crazy Nazi zombies in his dreams. Like, that movie's just got all sorts of good fucked up stuff in it. And it still holds up. It's still a great horror film. And yeah, looking forward to be watching Trick or Treat again pretty soon. But yeah, loaded up the public test build, and I'll be probably streaming a little more Dead by Daylight later. I might actually pop on and see if I can get a killer match. And then, looking forward to that, 2 weeks from now when that starts. So I'll be doing as much Apex Legends as I can to finish off as much of my Battle Pass on that game as I can before I go get a Battle Pass for Dead by Daylight, and then have to schedule splitting time between 2 Battle Passes on 2 games because there's so many cosmetics and toys I want to unlock. It is so much fun. And then I have been finally getting through the storyline of No Man's Sky. I had spent literally the first 30 hours of that game just randomly going around and mining and just using it as like meditation. And I finally started progressing through the storyline. So I'm heading towards the center of the galaxy and looking for a black hole and dealing with the Atlas and all the weird shit in that game. It's still a blast. It's a fun one just flying around. I've actually made it to where like at the end of the night, I get all hyped up playing Apex Legends, either angry for losing or getting all excited for winning. And then it's like midnight and I'm wired. And so I will literally put on my iPod, crank up some Star Talk, and just listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson teach me stuff about space while I'm flying through space mining. And it's just super relaxing. It's a nice way to spend like 30, 40 minutes, calm down, and then go to bed. And yeah, it's a good way to kind of wind down the night instead of coming off of. I can't come off an Apex win or a loss and just go straight to bed. It just doesn't work. So yeah, No Man's Sky is great for meditation. And then I did see I actually hopped back into Anthem since they did their last update and kind of half sorta took the Cataclysm out, left part of it, blah blah blah, whatever they decided to do. But every time I leave my Twitch stream, it goes back and shows you the categories you follow, and so I always notice the numbers. And the numbers are usually something like 103,000 people streaming Apex, 20, 30, maybe 40,000 people streaming Dead by Daylight, and usually it's somewhere in the hundreds, possibly thousands streaming Anthem. And I think Thursday night after my stream was the worst I'd ever seen. As I backed out on my Twitch app, it showed 2 people streaming Anthem.
Well, I mean,
they are down to single-digit streamers on Twitch.
The game is like $20 new a lot of places right now, it's looked like. And I've seen GameStop had a sale where it was down to $9.99, brand new, both the regular and the limited edition ones.
$9.99, you say?
Well,
hey,
it's not
$10.
It's not that anymore, though. It went
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say $9.99. I'm still not gonna buy it.
For $10, when it works, it's the best mech flight simulator I've ever played, and you actually feel like Iron Man. When that game works, it's super fucking fun, and they have fixed a lot of the problems that they had. But it's still lacking in content. There's really no end game. They added in the collapse, and then as soon as they said they were going to take it out, there was a huge public backlash. Like, you guys finally added something fun, and you're going to remove it from the game. Why? And so they end up basically leaving the collapse in there, and just the story, like the event part of it went away, but the collapse itself is still there, so you can go in. You're just not earning the crystal shards anymore, but you can still go in and do the puzzles. And the puzzles they designed are actually really cool. Like, there's each one, like, there's, I think it's 6 or 7 different battle arenas, basically, when you fly into this giant storm, and inside of each arena is a different puzzle you have to figure out to take a barrier down around a crystal shard to shoot it so that it ends that event. And each puzzle is totally different. Some of them can be done solo, most of them you need teams. But like it was a really cool design, and I'm glad they left it in the game because it is fun to play. But yeah, it's one of those things, like it's still it's like a great start to a game, and this is what, 2 years in? Like, there should be end game. I shouldn't still be. I've been level 30 on that game since 60 days after it came out. Like, I have nothing to look forward to in that game. So I've been playing Apex and Dead by Daylight because what do I need to play Anthem for? Like, there's nothing new. So hopefully they'll do another patch. Hopefully BioWare will keep trying to move forward with it. But we'll see. It may just be Anthem 2 on the PS5. Will be the one that I really look forward to, but I'll tell you this, I won't be pre-ordering it.
I don't know that you're going to get an Anthem 2 right now.
No, we might not. We might not.
I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get an Anthem 2.
Never say never. You don't know.
I'm saying it right now.
I hope they prove you wrong, because the game is super fun. Yeah, that's what I'm going to get into.
Well, that's fun stuff. That being said, I think it's time for us to start wrapping this thing up, unless you guys have any final thoughts for us. Anything. Going once, twice,
3 times a lady.
And that's
my biscuits are burning.
All right, well, this has been Biscuit Talk with the Biscuit Boys, and we thank you for joining us again for another round of Biscuit Talk. Don't forget, we do this show live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, over on geeks.live. So we will see you all next week. Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek radio app, and over at our network home at GonnaGeek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.